Hey, how are you? Testing one, two. Perfect. Testing one, two. Ah, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. This is Dr. Ortiz. I'm the very, very proud principal in New Rochelle High School. Welcome. In the meantime, I'm going to make a quick announcement since we're offering the presentation both in English and Spanish. Para los padres, buenas noches. Gracias por venir. Yo soy el Dr. Artiles, el director de la escuela. Es un placer estar aquí. A ustedes los que necesitan la presentación en español, por favor pueden ir con el señor Zimmerman, que está allá, para que entonces vayan a la cafetería de la casa número 2, así toda la información será en español, así no tienen que esperar para traducir. La señora Núñez estará allá con ustedes, así que lo que la necesiten en español pueden ir con el señor Zimmerman, si no, ustedes se pueden quedar aquí y así esperamos comenzar.
for the high school. So I'm Carrie Fox. I have a 9th grader, Naomi, and I also have 2 kids who have already graduated, who went all the way through from Ward to Albert Leonard and through the high school and are in college. So this is like they overlapped for a year, so it's like my 8th year of being a parent at New Rochelle High School. And I am on the PTSA board. Let's go to the next slide. And I'm just going to talk to you for a few minutes about the PTSA and why you should join it and how to get involved. It's up here. Ooh. I didn't learn that in the PTSA board. Okay, so that's everyone on the PTSA board. And the main thing to get on this slide is that there's a lot of people on our board. So there's so many different ways to get involved. Think about if you want your face up there one day and join our board, because we are always looking for people to get involved. And as a board member, as a volunteer, I'm going to talk about all the different ways to get involved. Okay, so a few reasons to join. So number one, you really do make a difference to the school. You have such a commitment to the school by sending your child or your children here, and it is a real way to have an impact on the school for parents, teachers, and for students, and for the whole community. It's flexible. There are a lot of ways that even busy parents can get involved. It's a way to impact the school. If there's something you see that you think should be different, it's a good way to impact change. It helps raise funds to make sure that the school has the resources that it needs to support our students and also the teachers and the administration. And it's important to the school. The teachers really and the students really rely on us. There are many times they come to us and ask us to organize something for the teachers, to organize something for the students, and our organization is what they come to support them. And it's good for your child. I think that kids really, I couldn't get my daughter to come tonight. I tried, but I think she gets a kick out of the fact that she knows I'm really involved and she knows I'm invested in the school. So this is just to show you through pictures some of the different things we do. So we have fundraisers that raise money to support all kinds of student activities. We show school spirit. We don't have Spirit Wear today, but we are going to get new school spirit in soon that can be bought on our website. And also we're going to have a pop-up shop. So we sell apparel in 2 different ways. Sometimes we have the apparel and you can buy it and we arrange a time to deliver it to you. The pop-up shops are things that are like custom made and ordered and shipped to your house. And we only do that during certain times, but we're going to be starting one soon, I think next week. Communication, PTSA is great at sending out communication, and after a certain point of the year, you only get the communication if you're a member. So and something the PTSA does is we help disseminate so much information to the parents. We do a lot of staff appreciation. I was just here actually on Tuesday, even though the kids didn't have school, the teachers were here, and a few of us on the board were serving breakfast to them, and they really appreciate it. And things like that just show the teachers we care about them, and we want our teachers to feel like we care about them as a community, and I hope our PTSA does a good job at that. We also have teacher grants, and we're thinking of adding other grants for clubs. So that's like if you have a teacher who really wants to do something great for a classroom and doesn't have the money for it, they can come to the PTSA, fill out an application, and get funds. So there are 3 main ways to get involved, because we know that everyone's different, has different time, has different skills. So one way is to just join, wait, I skipped one, is to just join the PTA. And I hope everyone has joined or has a QR code to join. It's only $15, another $5 if you add your student, $10 for teachers, and it supports everything that we do. So definitely join. And number 2 is to connect with us. We are on every social media channel. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're all over the place, and there's a main New Rochelle page. This slide has all of the different handles. There's the main New Rochelle page, and then each class has a page. So if you're in 9th grade, I think a lot of you are, make sure to join the 9th grade class of 2027 Facebook page. And there's a QR code. It's like hard to scan it from here, so there is a QR code on these little pieces of paper that I've been handing out, and it's just basically NRHS PTSA class of 2027. So you can search for it on Facebook. We try really hard to disseminate information that you need to make this place easier to understand. So join the Facebook page. And then 3 is to volunteer, just to help us. Sometimes you could help organize an activity, or you could just come and show up and be helping out, like serving food. So you could be helping sell apparel. I mean, there's so many different ways to get involved. Sometimes like we need help just for decorations or to cook if we're having like something where people are contributing food. So there's so many different ways to volunteer. One thing that I do that I think is totally fun, we have Popcorn Wednesdays. And on Popcorn Wednesdays, it actually is like many hours of work to pop all that popcorn, and we raise a lot of money. We usually sell, like we get about $850 each time. So it's a really great fundraiser to the school. It's a lot of fun. If you're ever free on Wednesdays when we have Popcorn Wednesdays, please, please come join us and volunteer. And my last slide is these are just some events coming up. So I talked about the pop-up shop. That's where you can order things we don't usually have in stock, but are custom. Like I got the pajama pants in the last pop-up shop. That's fun. Or there's more different kinds of sweatshirts. So that'll start at November 15th. And that's in the same site you'd go to join the PTSA. That's our store. And there's a link for apparel where you can buy apparel. And also the popcorn fundraisers. There's one of those next Wednesday on November 15th. On November 16th is our SEPTA meeting. That's the Special Education PTA. Really important if your kids have an IEP or 504 or any special needs. And that's here on November 16th. And then on November 17th, we need donations for a Thanksgiving drive. And that'll also be on the PTSA page. And the link is right here. It's the same page to donate. And that is really it, unless anyone has questions about the PTSA. But you can always ask us on Facebook. Okay, thanks. And there you go, Dr. Artiles.
I'm going to move that picture quickly because I had far more hair at that time than now. So it just sort of reminds me, but go ahead, pull up the flyer. I want to welcome everyone. I'm Dr. Artiles. I am, as I said before, the very proud principal of New Rochelle High School. This is my 3rd year. Feels like I've been here much longer. I live in New Rochelle. My daughter graduated from New Rochelle High School last year. I have an 8th grader who's going to be a 9th grader next year. So for me, this is personal. This is just not a job. I'm doing what I'm doing not only to ensure that every one of your kids have the most wonderful experience and access to as many programs and opportunities as possible, because I want those also for my kids as well, my own 2 kids who give me more headaches than the 3,100 that I have here. Right? I want to start, I want just to share with you, I mean, you are 9th graders, so you guys already been through that process, but you have an 8th grader coming, and we are going to be hosting our first ever open house at New Rochelle High School. It's an opportunity to give our community sort of a chance to get to know what we are, who we are, what we do, is some of the many things that we have expanded, so you can learn about it. Our PAVE program, our over 30 AP and dual enrollment courses, robotics, engineering. There's so many things, the COO by Literacy, by the way, we are one of the premier schools in producing students that get the prestigious COO by Literacy recognition from the state, meaning that they are fluent in 2 languages or more. This year, we are also starting our COO Civic Readiness, teaching our students about civic, and that is yet another sticker that's going to go on that diploma. One of the things is that we are struggling. The diploma in New Rochelle High School is fairly small, running out of space with so many different recognitions that our students get. But it's a great chance just to get to know what we are. So if you have an 8th grader that is coming up, this is designed for 8th graders. It is also designed for families that have students in private school. And as we have begun to get such a return from private schools, they always want to know what we are about, so they ask for tours. So we are hoping that with this, we can give them an opportunity. And for the 9th graders here, I hope that you guys are having a wonderful time. New Rochelle High School. I know it's a much bigger place, but it moves fast, and I'm sure that by now you have been able to master where the classrooms are and walking a quarter mile from the gym all the way to House 4. Yes, it's a quarter mile long. They go from 10801 to 10804. Literally, yes. And some of your kids have to do that multiple times a day, but they do it peacefully and happily, and I'm hoping that you have a wonderful time. Thank you, parents. As you can see, this space here, I want to thank you because I want you to remember this space because of your generosity and your commitment to the New Rochelle School District. We were able to have the bond pass to renovate the Whitney auditorium. So in about 2 years, we're hoping to see a brand new state-of-the-art facility. It's going to be the best in the county, but that is only possible through your constant dedication to the district, and I want to thank you for that. So enjoy the presentation. I'm going to introduce Ms. Grogan, one of our excellent school counselor, for them to take over from here. Welcome, have a good night, everyone, and enjoy the 3-day weekend.
Thank you, Dr. Ortiz, and welcome everybody. My name is Christine Grogan. I'm a counselor in House 1. I'm also a resident of New Rochelle, and my 3 children were graduates of New Rochelle High School. They went through the whole New Rochelle system. So I sat in your seat 1 year, well, for a few years, I should say. And so, you know, it's just a great opportunity for our students. It's a great school. My kids thrived, and they loved it. It's a wonderful place to raise children. So I am going to talk about our role as a counselor, okay? And if you could, oh, I have it right here, I'm sorry. So how do I do it, Joe? To the right. Got it, okay. I'm not too technologically savvy, but, okay, so our aim here at the high school, so at the end of this presentation, you'll know what your school counselor's role will be and how to work with us throughout your 4 years at New Rochelle High School, both parents and students. Okay, there's a freshman year checklist that you can access when you get this presentation emailed to you, okay? We measure success here at the high school. We are the New York State, what are the New York State graduation requirements? We're going to go through all this tonight, so you'll know this all before you leave here. What a final transcript looks like when you're ready to exit New Rochelle High School. You'll know a bit about the standardized testings that you could take for college entrance, and what courses are offered here at school for college credit. And we have quite an array. And you'll know how to get involved in your school community. Okay, so this is a little quote that our director, Leah, couldn't be here tonight, but she asked us to read for her. College readiness is not the belief that every student will go to college. It is the idea that every student deserves the opportunity to be educated in a way that prepares them for college. So, especially in today's day and age, not everybody wants to further their education. A lot do, but some don't. But it doesn't mean that you're not going to be successful in life, because you will. You just have to follow your dream and pursue. You have to work hard. You have to follow your dream. Nothing's going to be given to you. But there are so many opportunities out there if college is not what you're looking for. Okay, so our house offices consist of many people. We have we have 4 house offices, and I'm sure you know that. 1, 2, 3, and 4 over in the next zip code. We have a house principal. Each house has 4 counselors. 1 has 5. We have a school psychologist, a school social worker, an attendance teacher, a special education facilitator, and a house secretary. You can access all of our information, our email addresses, and our phone numbers if you go to the New Rochelle High School main page. And I believe you click on Explore, and then Our Schools. Scroll down a bit, you'll see house offices, and it gives everybody's information. So if you need to call in to speak to one of the counselors, the house principal, or if your child's absent and you need to call the secretary in the house office to tell them that they won't be in today, to excuse their absence, you know, you have all the information there. Oh, I'm sorry. This is not good. I told you I was not big on technology. Okay, so this is what I just said. Okay. Okay, now our role. Thank you. I have my little tech-savvy people here tell me what to do. Okay. Our role is academic development. Like I say to my students, you know, if they're not going to class, which they will do, but if they do miss a class for one reason or another, and it's not excused, you know, I tell them, this is my job. I have to talk to you. I have to tell you that you need to be in class so you could learn 4 years and further, and then time to move on. So we're you know, we are the keeper of the academics, the keeper of the transcripts. We do appropriate placements. We get referrals from teachers. We manage time, and we do an organization. On a personal and social emotional level, this is a much larger school than Isaac or Albert, or if you came from a different school district, it's a big school, it's a big place. So you can have many different experiences here. Not every one child has the same experience. So you have to learn how to manage it differently, because you do have a lot more independence here than you would at your middle schools. Okay, you have to manage distractions and adolescent pressures. New growth opportunities and meeting new friends. You have being patient. This age, kids really do mature a lot, and I know myself, and I'm sure my fellow counselors and Dr. Archiles could attest that there's such a big difference between freshman year and senior year. We could really see the maturity in our students, and they develop their autonomy. So there's a lot going on at New Rochelle High School for our 9th graders. Our role also is career development via Naviance. Naviance is a web-based program. Let me switch, sorry. Okay, there we go. Naviance is a web-based program that supports students in the career and college planning process. So we use this whether we work with students individually, whether we push into classes. We actually pushed into 9th grade classes about a little over a month ago, and we introduced our students to Naviance. It has on the main page of New Rochelle High School, again, it has you could click class link, and that will bring you straight to Naviance, and the student clicks on Naviance, and their account will automatically appear. So in this web-based page, there's a lot of resources. There's a lot about careers. There's a lot about colleges. There's a lot of information and different like questionnaires and surveys that you could take. 9th graders, I'm talking to you now, to learn about yourself, your interests, your talents, your strengths. So it's a tool that you will be introduced to in 9th grade, and you'll use more and more as you get to be seniors. Okay, what we did in a lot of the classes already was we did the 9th grade Strengths Explorer. And next year, you'll be doing more interest inventory and career exploration, and of course, the resume. And as you know, you are building your resume. Every year, you are building your resume, whether you, with your education, of course, if you belong to any clubs, if you have any jobs, if you do any volunteer work, that's all things that go on a student's resume. So it's always good to get involved, because that helps build your resume. Okay, and we also do, of course, the college exploration and application process. So you have a few years for that, but that is down the path, okay? And I think that's it for me. So I'm going to introduce my colleague, Heather Brown. Thank you. To the right, that one. Okay, this is yours.
Yeah, we all need a tutorial on how to use this clicker and technology. Hello, everyone. My name is Heather Brown. I'm a counselor in House 3. And I want to preface what we're doing here to let you know that we're giving you a lot of information tonight. Don't get overwhelmed. It's the first time a lot of you are seeing this. And one thing I will say, all of the counselors here, we're very open and we're willing, so please send us an email. Ms. Grogan told you how you can find us. You can send us an email. Feel free to leave us a voicemail for those of us that have voicemail. And Dr. Artilis is also very receptive. So if you do have a problem, feel free to reach out to him as well. So, all about perspective. I want you guys to take a look at this photo and tell me what you see. What? A woman turning her head. Okay. Anybody see anything else? Okay, so we see an old woman and a young woman. Okay, who sees the old woman? By a show of hands. Who sees the young woman? Who sees them both? Okay, you know what that means? Absolutely nothing, no. What it means, it's all about perspective. We're all looking at the same photo, but we're pulling different things from it. And that's what the experience at New Rochelle High School is all about. It's all about perspective. We're here, you're gonna have a lot of things available to you, and what you do with it is what's gonna be the important thing at the end of the day, right? So it's how you approach your classes, it's how you approach clubs, it's how you approach activities. So there is no right or wrong way. The brain is absolutely amazing, and it's for you to utilize your brain and make it work for you. So for all of you that saw the young lady first, well, no, I'm not even gonna, it doesn't matter. Okay, let's talk about the courses and examinations needed to graduate. New York State has graduation requirements that all of our students have to meet. 22 credits and 5 Regents examinations. That is the bare minimum. There are plenty of students that graduate with more than 22, but you are not graduating with 21 and a half. So parents, students that are listening or who are gonna be listening or who are here now, do not, under any circumstances, fail gym. You need, these credits are broken down in a certain way. You can see that, right? You need your elective credits, you need health, you need, it's 3.5 elective credits, right? It says 1.5, but it's 3.5 elective credits. You need a half of health, you need 2 PE credits, but because PE is a half credit, that's how you're taking PE every year that you're here. You'd be surprised how many students are not eligible for graduation because they've not passed PE. And they have to do it in an extended day or night school program. So understand, it's not a Miss Brown thing, it's not a Mr. Zimmerman thing, it's not a Miss Grogan thing. It is a New York State thing. You will need 22 credits and those 5 Regents examinations. Now, there are instances where there are accommodations and things that can be done, but we're not gonna get into that now. Like I said, if you have any additional questions, you definitely can reach out to your counselor. Now, for those that are looking to get special designations like Advanced Regents Diploma, these are the requirements that are on the screen. Again, it is still the 22 credits. We're not getting away from that. What changes is the amount of Regents examinations that you need to take. You now need 9 Regents examinations that a student will have to take. Plus there is it up there, the language? Yeah. Yes, the Checkpoint B exam is a foreign language proficiency exam that will also have to, the student will have to be successful in. In addition to that, there are 3 credits of world language. You can see that it's bolded on the side where it says the credits. It still works out to the 22 credits. So for those of you that are here that are thinking that, you know, I want to go for that advanced Regents diploma, that means you're going to take a language course most of the time that you're here, and that you will take all of the classes that terminate in a Regents exam. And your counselors can give you more information on that. So here is a sample transcript, and I hope you can all see that. If you look at this particular transcript, for I'm a student. I'm an A student. This student earned credits while in middle school, and that's that very first box you see up there that says grade 8. There are some of our students who come in from the middle school already having earned credits. Additionally, every year that you are here in the high school, for every course you take, with the exception of some courses that are half-credit courses, you will be earning credits. It is important that you try your very best not to fail any classes, because like I mentioned before, the slide before that talked about the 22 credits, this is how we're going to get the 22 credits. And this transcript right here is a breakdown of what a student transcript would look like and what the colleges will see for those that are thinking about going off to college. And I should say it's not just college. If it's military or you're looking for an internship, a lot of times they will ask to see your high school transcript. At the very bottom, you'll see it has a GPA. There are two numbers there. We usually share the weighted GPA with the colleges, so you can see that that GPA is higher than the unweighted GPA. And that has a lot to do with the level, the rigor of the courses that the student is taking. So that changes if you're in an honors class or if you're taking an advanced placement course or a dual enrollment course. We have some of those, and we'll talk about them a little later on, where you're getting credit. You can receive college credit while you're here in high school. And if you also notice at the very bottom, this student has, I believe, 31 and a half credits. I can't read it on this paper. Is it 31? Okay, the student has 31 and a half. So as you can see, this student was very involved, and they are graduating with more than the 22 credits. So it is very doable, and I would encourage you to encourage your child to stay on top of their classes. We have a lot of great classes and electives that they can take in later years while they're here. And one of the things that I want to talk to you about that Ms. Grogan mentioned, it is important to do your best now, because as you can see, that transcript and that GPA is a culmination of all of your years here, right? So I don't want anyone to think that, I don't have to do well in 9th grade or 10th grade, I'm gonna knock it out 11th and 12th. I want you to understand that a lot of students have already applied for college. They would not have their 12th grade grades on the transcript because we just started school. So if you are heading to college, it is so important that you stay on top of things now, because college applications have already been gone out for a lot of students. And so the colleges are seeing your 9th, 10th, and 11th grade years. So do your best within that time. Now let's talk a little bit about college testing. In the 10th and 11th grade, some students may have taken it in the 8th grade or even in the 9th grade. You can sit for the PSAT, and that is actually a practice exam for the SAT. The importance of taking the PSAT is that for those colleges that will look at an SAT score, I know with COVID, a lot of schools are test optional, but we want our students to be positioned to excel and succeed. So anything that will set you apart from anyone else, it's not gonna hurt you to take the exam. So take the exam and do the best that you can, because when you take the PSAT, what happens is it gives you a guide of where you are, what areas you need to work on. Additionally, you can take it in the 9th grade, the PSAT, you can take it in the 10th grade. It's gonna also, you can track and see your scores to see the level of improvement. Another thing with the PSAT, it's tied to the National Merit Scholarship Program, and depending on your score, you'll be offered, you'll be enrolled, or you'll be offered scholarships and other, what we call it, grant opportunities, financial resources for college, but in order to be even eligible for that, you need to sit for the PSAT. Additionally, there are other exams. By the time you get to the 11th grade and 12th grade, you do have an opportunity to take the SAT and the ACT, and those are college entrance, I won't say college entrance exams, how do we describe them? A standardized test that will be a guideline for a college to assess your mastery of work while you're here in a high school. Additionally, there are also AP tests. Those are for the advanced placement classes that we offer here. And if you score 4 or 5, depending on the school that you go to, they may accept those as college credit. There is a fee associated with them, but we'll talk to you a little bit about that later. And I know you're like, Ms. Brown, it's 9th grade, we don't need this. It's just preparing you, just so that, this is gonna give you a guide so that if you're saying, I wanna take something a little bit more challenging, we're just putting these ideas in your head. If there's anything you don't understand, as I mentioned, you can always reach out to your counselor. And you are more than your test scores. So what are colleges considering? They are gonna look at test scores, but in addition to that, they're gonna wanna look at that GPA. So that GPA is very important because, like I said, the colleges see only through junior year. Mind you, we will send them your senior year transcript. They just wanna know how you did in your senior year, but they're gonna make their decision based on the information they have. Additionally, the counselors will write letters of recommendation, as will the teachers. Your transcript is important. Extracurriculars are so important as well, right? A lot of these schools want to know that they are going to bring in a well-rounded student who's going to contribute to the academic life and the campus life, or the college in general. The course selection also matters. As I mentioned before, the rigor, the types of courses that you take, the colleges will look at that. You will have an essay. Students have prompts to select from, and they write an essay that's personal to them, something that will catch the admissions committee's eyes, as well as the interview process. So there are a lot of things that go into making a student, and a lot of things that colleges will look for. So I'm gonna stop talking for now, because I could talk all night, but I know you don't want me to do that. And I'm gonna introduce to you Joseph Zimmerman, who is a counselor in House 2.
All right, how's everyone doing? So we're gonna talk a little bit about how we measure success at New Rochelle High School. And the reality is, we're not so fixated on the number that you get in a class, right? Of course, we want you to score as high as you can, but how we measure success is that you're giving your best effort, right? And that's our expectation for every student. And as Ms. Brown said before, right, you are establishing your foundation for whatever the next step is for you after high school. Your grades really do matter, and we want your effort to match the importance of your grades. So how do we communicate with one another in terms of putting some outreach and giving you an idea of how students are doing within their classes? One of the things that we do is we send out progress reports. So you get one of these progress reports for each quarter, right? And you should have already received the one for marking period 1. They come out about halfway through the marking period, so it gives you an idea of how things are going, right? Either things are going great and we're gonna continue with that, or maybe we need to reassess some things and figure out what our next move is in terms to get our grade up in classes. If you have any students that are a little bit older, you would have seen this year that we made a change to the progress reports, and I think it's a really beneficial change because now the school is providing you with a grade range, right? We used to just get progress reports out that would have comments, doing good work, right? What does that mean, right? So that was a good improvement to that. We also have report cards. Again, we have 4 quarters, so the 4 quarter grades are gonna be averaged together, and you'll have your cumulative grade, and that's the one that you would have seen on the transcript right over there. So we have, for each report card, you can either make the honor roll or the high honor roll, right? And there's different criteria for that. Honor roll is 85 average, and not including phys ed. High honor roll is 90 average, right? Not including phys ed, although phys ed is a really important class. Homework, self-explanatory. I think a lot of our students are feeling that they're getting more work in high school, right? Which makes sense. High school is more difficult. There's going to be more work associated with the coursework. We need to be collaborative together, right? And this is a point later on this screen right here, right? We want our students to have independence, but as guardians, you need to ensure that your students are doing what they need to do. And ever since COVID, everything has become very digitized. A lot of the course grade books for teachers are via Google Classroom now. So as a parent, you have every right to go ahead and access your student's Google Classroom. Take a look, see if assignments are missing, right? And that way you're ensuring that everything is, getting completed. Attendance, we want our students in school every day. We feel attendance is super important, and we encourage you as guardians, please, 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 when you can help it, do not schedule appointments during the school day. Of course, we will excuse students if they're sick, and we understand that you can't necessarily be here every day, but every day of school is important, and you're missing out on really vital information within the class if you're out for that day. If you do have an excusable absence, make sure that you reach out to the house secretary for your child's house and put in an absent note. And then the students will be able to show their teachers an admit and be able to make up whatever work that they missed. And again, in regards to the involvement, right? We're looking for a partnership here, right? And in any good partnership, we don't want to be outworking you, and we don't want you to be outworking us, right? So I always tell my parents, feel free to email teachers at any time, right? Just to check in every so often. We know you're getting the progress report. We know you're getting the report card. But we want to facilitate communication between guardians and teachers and educators in this building. So feel free to email out, ask questions. And I think as an educator, when we know that you're responsive and you reach out to us, it incentivizes us to reach out to you because we know we're going to get a response. If anyone in here does not know what home access is, I know a lot of you probably already have home access, but it is a platform, an online platform where you can see attendance, report cards, transcripts, progress reports, etc. I would encourage you to get signed up for it. On the school website, there's instructions. If you have an email already with us in the eSchools profile, you could reach out to your house secretary or counselor to see if your email is in there. It should be. If you don't have that email anymore, or you don't have an email registered with us, you need to contact Home Access directly. They have an email. It's nrhomeaccess@emorylearner.org. It's on the school website as well. Now, we know the transition to high school can be difficult, right? And we want you working your hardest. So we want to find ways to support you, and this will be shared as well. And all of the purple or blue, I can't tell what color it is from this angle, names of these programs all have links, right? So when you get this presentation, you'll be able to get additional information and link to some of these websites. So the first is tutor.com, and I've had a lot of students that have used it. It's a 24/7 online tutoring program where students can put in whatever they're interested in getting tutoring in, living environment, global history, and they're able to take a picture of whatever they're working on or type whatever problem they're working on, and it'll link them with the tutor right then and there. So it could be Sunday night at midnight, we're really, trying to get this assignment done for Monday morning, but I need help. Right? You can use tutor.com. It can also, it's not only text, you can also link up with someone to be able to speak to them as well. Khan Academy, this is a good resource. It provides online, provides a ton of different lessons for different subjects. When you get to the SAT, they also have SAT prep on there as well. PASS is a program we run. Ms. Solano, a counselor in House 4, runs the program. She actually just told all the counselors the other day that she's really looking for students to come to this program. She says she has a lot of really great, talented upperclassmen that are really looking to help younger students with their work. So that's going to be in person on Wednesdays after school, and students can come with their homework. They can come to get ready for a test or a quiz. And we have, again, plenty of students to help them with that work. Great Potential is another program we run here. It's on Thursdays, and Math Honor Society students come and help the younger students that come in there. So if you need help with algebra, geometry, algebra 2, whatever you're in, you can get help with that math. And then the extra help schedule for each teacher. Every teacher is mandated to have an extra help day after school. A lot of our teachers are willing to go beyond that and set up appointments with students, right? We know that you may have your algebra teacher have extra help on the same day as your living environment teacher, and you need help in both, right? So that's something that you could work out directly with the teacher. Sometimes if a teacher has a prep period on their lunch, they'd be willing to do that. So that schedule is linked there as well. All right, so in terms of important dates, right? This comes back to the progress reports and report cards, right? The dates are just good for you to note as a guardian of students, right? So we are finishing the marking period up today, so I hope all the students in the room turned in all the work that they could, right? Marking period 2, you're looking at the progress report sometime in December. You're going to be getting that report card sometime early in February. Marking period 3, the progress report's going to come out sometime in March. The marking period will end in April, late April, early May. You'll get that report card. You'll get a progress report in May, and then June, the year is over. So again, some good dates to pay attention to. All right, earning college credits at New Rochelle High School. So there's 2 major ways to do this, right? One of them are through AP courses, and the other one is through dual enrollment courses. So AP is advanced placement, as said before. These are courses that are College Board approved, which is the company that also runs the SAT. Our teachers teach the curriculum for these classes, and they ultimately culminate in an AP exam, typically in May. Now, in order to get high school credit for the class, you pass it like any other class, right? You get marking period grades. But to get college credit, it's solely predicated on the AP exam in May, right? You could have an 80 average in the class, but if you don't pass that AP exam, you're not going to get college credit. The AP exam is scored 1 through 5. 3 would be considered a passing score, but as Ms. Brown said before, it really depends on the school that you go to. When I went to Binghamton, they would only take 4s or higher. More of the prestigious schools will take 5s or may not take them at all. I always joke about the Ivy League schools. They want you to take every AP under the sun, but then don't want to take any of the credits. So in order to be competitive, right, we want to take these AP classes, but just know, again, it's solely predicated on your score and whether or not the college that you ultimately enroll will take those credits. So we have over 30 APs. Students normally begin to have the chance to take them as sophomores through this class AP World. It's the equivalent to Global History 2. There may be some freshmen in here or that you know of that are taking AP Principles of Computer Science as freshmen. That's something that we've opened up over the last few years. How many AP, how many college classes should you take? That really is up to the student, right? We want you to be challenged, but we want you to be appropriately challenged, right? We don't want you drowning so much in your work that you don't have time for all the other things that, one, colleges want to see, and 2, that we have to offer at the high school. Dual enrollment classes, they work a little bit differently than the APs. In order to get your high school credit, again, same thing as the APs, but you're also dually enrolled within the college. So we have 3 colleges that we partner with here. One is Mercy, the other is Syracuse, and the other is Westchester Community College. So if you're taking a dual enrollment course, what you're going to do is whatever grade you have in the class will be comparable to like ABC, whatever the system the school uses, and you're going to get a transcript from that college. So when you apply to college or you're in college, you'll have that transcript and say, I took business law through Mercy College, and the Mercy has granted you those credits already. So really good opportunity. Again, we want you to challenge yourself down the line. That's going to look different for everyone. And it really is beneficial to start racking up these college credits. One of my buddies in school, he ended up graduating from Binghamton in 3 years because he came in with 32 college credits. So colleges may cap you out on it, but it depends on where you go. You could save a lot of money down the line. Okay. Now, in terms of getting involved, I found as a counselor, and I'm sure my colleagues would agree, students that are involved in the community here are much better students, right? Because they have pride in being a New Rochelle student, and that's what we want. We want, when our 9th graders go and graduate and look 15 years down the line, we want them to have pride in that they went to New Rochelle High School and that they can look back and have such a positive experience. And I could speak to my high school experience. When I look back on it at this point in life, I'm not really thinking about the classes I took. I may remember a teacher or a counselor, but really I'm remembering the times I had with my friends in my extracurriculars or sports, right? So that's what we want for you all, to be involved here, to get involved with what you want to be involved with. We have over 70 clubs at the high school. We have a ton of sports. There's a ton of organizations from the community that are in this high school. And I really do want to encourage every student in here, take a look at the list of clubs on the school website. See if there's something that interest you, right? Because again, if you're connected here and you're enjoying your time at New Rochelle, the schoolwork just kind of works out, right? It's not a, you look forward to something in school, right? Okay, so the last piece of this, Ms. Freitas, our boss, wanted you to take a survey here, so I'm going to give a minute or so for you to do that, and then we'll take whatever questions anyone in the audience has. What, this? That's Leah's magic right there. She likes that, the QR code. All right, we'll take whatever questions you have, so feel free to raise your hand and we'll work around the room. Go ahead. Oh, yeah, perfect. I could repeat your question as long as it's not long. Mhm. Sure. So we had a question about BOCES. So BOCES is a program that we partner with where students have the opportunity, and we do have a limited amount of spaces in BOCES, but you can go, it's a 2-year program, and you can start as a junior. So in terms of how this works with credits, it depends on the program you're taking. So as a junior, if you pass BOCES, you're going to get 4 elective credits, so you already knock off the elective piece of the 22. Your senior year, you're going to get English credit through BOCES. And then depending on the program, you may get math or science as well. For example, the auto tech program over at BOCES, you get English and math, right? If you're in the sound production program, you get English and science. So it works out because it's such a substantial amount of credits, and we also plan accordingly in the junior and senior year, right? So if you have some credit deficiencies, it makes things a little bit more difficult because you're only going to have the opportunity to take a few classes at the high school junior and senior year. So what that would look like is, as a junior, you're going to take some form of English 3, you're going to take some form of U.S. history, and then you're going to take either a math or science. And typically the way I schedule as a counselor is, what credit are you going to get down the line from the program, right? If you're going to be in auto tech, I know that you need that 3rd credit of science, so I'll typically schedule you for that. And then you'll have phys ed. We have 2 sessions of BOCES, and not every program is run on both, but a lot are. So you have AM BOCES, so you'll be in BOCES, you go at like around 7:20 in the morning, you come back 5th through 8th period here, and we have PM BOCES where we're gonna put you in AM phys ed at 7:22 in the morning every other day, and you go periods 1 through 3 with us, then you have lunch period 4, you get on the BOCES bus and you're back at 3:07. So in order to apply for BOCES, there's nothing that you have to do as a freshman. Sophomore year, the program varies ever so slightly from year to year, but we typically have students attend a trip to BOCES that'll be sometime January, February, and then the application is online and it's first come, first serve once it opens up. Okay. What else do we have around here? I can't see too great with the lights, so. Sure.
If there are classes that they want to take, and especially my daughter's in PAVE, that already takes off her electives.
Correct.
A million other classes she wants to take.
Mhm.
Here, 2 questions. One is, are there any classes over the summer? I know some kids later on take calculus, but I don't know, is that the only one? Is there ever anything else if they're not doing anything else over the summer? And also, my daughter seems to think you can like skip lunch and take an extra class.
So I'll address both of those. So first, in terms of what do we offer over the summer? So the summer is primarily used for remediation, right? Summer school if you fail a class. We have offered some math offerings over the summer. Pre-calculus and calculus 2 have been offerings in the past, but they're totally contingent on how many students show interest. If there's only like 2 students, for example, that want to take pre-calculus over the summer, we're probably not going to run that, right? And those programs specifically were built to accelerate students further, right? So that pre-calculus class was targeted for like a rising senior that wanted to get to calculus. So they, you know, if they were in algebra 2 and did really well, they could take that pre-calculus class over the summer going into senior year and then jump on into one of our calculus offerings, right? Now, in terms of can students take a class in lieu of lunch? They can. It's not something that I personally encourage. It definitely gets tough with PAVE because there's the companion course. And I find a lot of times you have the companion course, you may be doing science research, and you have your world language. Because a lot of colleges, and obviously we didn't get too deep into this, world language is something that colleges really, really like to see. So we don't want you giving up your world language if you're doing well in it, you know, so early in your high school career. So it is an intricate balance of, in my caseload of 200, I probably have 6 or 7 students that don't have a lunch due to something like that, but that's totally something student driven, right? And it's not something that I typically encourage because you have more time in your high school career. You know, sometimes you have a prerequisite for a course and that's something you may want to talk to a counselor about, but other times there's not a prerequisite and you could just take it in the latter half of high school. We have any other? Yep.
So I have boys who are in the PAVE,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and they have something called like they pull individual students out of class
Mm-hmm.
to do individual their instruments.
Yep.
Lessons. So I have having problem with it.
Yeah.
There's like a lack of communication between the teachers. I'm getting calls saying that my kids are absent. But then like if I'm absent, like one for one absent.
Yeah.
One boy has like excused absence, and the other boy in his class is just absent. How is it going to affect their grade or
Right. So yeah, any music lesson is excused. There, at times, is a little bit of a disconnect, like you're talking about, in terms of the attendance being put in, right? So what's supposed to happen is the teacher is supposed to inform the House Secretary, and then the House Secretary inputs. So it depends on the time in which that the House Secretary is informed, right? If the teacher emails them after hours, right? Obviously, it won't get taken care of that day. It's not a flawless system, right? The teacher may forget to put it in, so sometimes they just need that reminder. The onus, in my opinion, would then be on the student to make sure that they're informing their teachers. It's not anything that the teacher would be able to penalize them for, but I would not assume that that's being communicated. And I would make sure that any student that's going to a music lesson follows up with their teacher to let them know. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, no, I definitely understand that frustration. I work in-house too, and I can only tell you how we do it in-house too. But I know that if Ms. Gomes, our secretary, does take care of if a teacher says, please excuse this for this, but it just needs to be communicated. So, we have any other questions? Go ahead. So I have had students do that specifically for Spanish. And if a student is a good fit, it is something that would need to be approved by administration, but I know I've had students in Spanish that have done that rather than taking that. Yeah, so the question was, does a student have to take the AP class in order to take the exam? And again, while our recommendation would be yes, for specific instances, right, if a student really is competent in that subject, regardless of the instruction, they can sit for that AP exam, but they need to be approved by administration and register. No, no AP exams are listed on the transcript. That's through College Board. So when you apply to schools, so you'll see, in the future on the Common App, for example, you can list what your AP scores are, but ultimately that is the students sending those AP scores to the schools, and we have no record of them on our transcript. I know we had a question somewhere over there. That's a great question. So the question was, how does a student get into an AP, right? And the process has been less and less restrictive every year that I've been here. So I know that our administration is looking to continue to do that in order to give students ultimate access to them. What we've done in the past, and I'll speak to last year, is every department had potentially prerequisite coursework depending on the class, right? You have to take pre-calculus prior to taking calculus, for example, right? Some are restricted to certain grade levels, like AP World, again, is a class that you take for Global II History, right? It gives that credit towards graduation. So typically that's done as sophomores, although there's always exceptions, right? So you need to just be aware of the grade that is needed in the subject that you're interested in, right? So last year, if my memory serves me correct, I believe it was at 85 for AP World that you had to have in Global History 1. I know 90 was a grade, I believe, in math if you were looking to get into the honors level, because we do also offer honors courses as well, and they don't give college credit, but they are weighted on that transcript and, again, provide a little bit more course rigor. So that should be announced. I think we typically have like an AP night here, but we go into the 9th grade classrooms and we present to students, this is the type of grades that you need. And I know that there's an appeal process as well, so if you're not meeting the criteria, it doesn't mean that you can't take the class, but you maybe need to have a conversation with the chair and kind of explain why you want to be in that class, and it may or may not be granted, but it would go through them. We have any more questions? No? All right, I think we're good then. So I'll hang around up here for a few minutes if anyone has anything in particular, and if not, we really appreciate you all coming out, and hopefully this was some good information.